the history behind a castle in Scotland and the famous Forbes name.
There is no blood connection, I have to say. There is a family connection, in as much as my business partner, who is now Lord Malcolm Forbes, is the clan chief of all Forbeses everywhere. But yes, you're right, it does have the mighty name of Forbes, but maybe you can do everything, but please don't launch a magazine. But you can do anything else.
Just don't launch a magazine.
Just don't launch a magazine.
Forbes magazine. Now, Michelle, dealing with all these men, what percentage would you say have skin problems?
You know, actually more men than women usually have skin irritations. It's men have very sensitive skin, and I think that it just, people think that men don't because men are so handsome and rugged and strong. But they do. They have very sensitive skin.
And Andrew, that's how you got involved. You had some skin problems.
Right, but I always had shaving problems, always. And I have always been, certainly for the last 25 years, to one of the upmarket barbers in London. And I tried all their products, and I tried everyone else's products. And I could never get a decent shave. I've tried electric razors, I've tried essential oil drops.
Yeah,
I've tried everything.
Like the pre-shave
you know
oils,
what I mean?
Yes,
but I've tried everything. And I can never get a decent shave. And in fact, my wife and I have now been together for about 30 years. After we'd been together for maybe 3 or 4 months, she said to me one day, "What's wrong with your face?" And I said, and she said, "You must have terrible acne." And I said, "No, it's ingrowing hairs." And the problem was, in those days, you didn't have the benefit of all the products that you have now, but you did have the brush. But I wasn't using a brush because young guys didn't use brushes. Eventually, I started using essential oils as tinctures to calm the skin, and as a perfumer, I was able to do that. And that's how we started doing what we were doing. And then we switched from being a toiletry brand, which is what we started off as Castle Forbes, for men and women, to being just a men's brand, specializing in wet shaving.
What do you think separates Castle Forbes from the competition out there?
We started building it from the bottom up. We found that the majority of British shaving creams was made by one factory. We went to talk to them and then realized that that wasn't how we wanted to go forward. Ours is completely different, in as much as we talk about fragrance, and you must know this, that when you create a product, the fragrance company or the perfumer will go through a selection of fragrances with the customer, and the customer will then say, "I really like this for my new brand," but then you have to make it stable in whatever the base is. But it's like cooking. If you put in too much chocolate, you can always change it slightly and you come up with the cake that you want. But the problem is that with an essential oil, there is no changing.
Wow.
So we actually have different bases. We modified the bases to go with the essential oils rather than modifying, because we couldn't, the fragrance to fit into the base.
Essential ingredients for MenEssentials.
Catchy.